Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Game Over Toronto with your host tonight, Lauren Williamson, and my wonderful co-host, Fouad. How you doing tonight, sir? How you doing?
Doing pretty good, you know. Who'd have thunk it'd be a good thing when the team, plays like they should and dusts a team they should dust in the Vancouver Canucks. Sorry to Game Over Vancouver. We know you're struggling now.
And one of our Vancouver hosts was actually in town for this game.
She was at the game.
I'm glad it was a good game, but I'm glad that we won.
Yes, we thank you for everyone. And make sure, everyone, that while you're watching this, remember that you are a part of the stream. So comment in the live chat, but most importantly, share this on your socials with your friends, family, and whoever. Shout it from the rooftops.
Tell your friends.
You'll win a chance to have a nice kind word from me, I guess. I don't know. There's not much I can give you, but a kind word. Just share it. Shout it from the rooftops. We love you. You're our part of the show, so let's help us grow here.
Absolutely. And this game is about everybody coming together. This stream is about Leaf fans coming together, and I'm just glad that we can all be together on this Saturday night where the Leafs win arguably a game that in the first period it looked like they were going to lose terribly. And we are going to cover all of that in today's show, all of the good, all of the bad, and all of the legend of number 21. But before we get going on that, if you want to bet, you can do it at Sports Interaction, Canada's sportsbook. Football continues, basketball is back, and hockey season is well underway. Bet pregame, live in play, or on one of our many prop bets, and it's made for Canadians by Canadians. Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Join now and see all that sports betting has to offer. Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. That's sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. Reminder, it is Ontario only, 19 plus, and please play responsibly. So to kick off the show, as we kicked off the game today, it is only right that we pay some tribute to the legend of number 21, of Borje Salming, of the original Swede on the Leafs, and inspiration for many of our players that are currently on our roster. Fouad, take it away. I know you got a piece about this.
Yeah, to me, I would say that it last night as well as this night, I would, full disclosure, I saw the last one on the clip, but to me that was a gut-wrenching but also beautiful ceremony. Gut-wrenching because ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease, is obviously a monster of an illness, of a condition that it just eats away at a person. And to see anybody, let alone a giant of a person like Borje Salming, just be afflicted by that, obviously, is just heartbreaking. And seeing the effects of that, in real time is really just, there's not much to say. Like, I could feel it, like, deep inside.
Yeah.
But beautiful in the sense that, he gets a chance to, somehow find a way to, in his health, to come to Toronto and be in front of Leaf fans, in front of everybody.
Drop a puck.
And drop the puck. That was awesome. And yeah, how that must feel for the family, just getting that ovation. And the TV doesn't do it justice. I'm sure it was raucous in there. I'd like to hear anybody who's at the game tell me, but that, like, stuff like that to me it's beyond hockey. It's beyond sports.
Beyond team.
If you showed anybody that clip who'd never seen the game of hockey and showed them hit the video package, and then that would have resonated with anybody. And to me, seeing the players emotional, seeing Kyle Dubas emotional, the embraces, to me, those images will live on forever. I think that might be one of the most significant images you'll see in the history of this team, and be honest with you. I mean, because it just transcends the sport. And yeah, he's a trailblazer. He's a trailblazer for the game. That's something we learned. He came, and you look at this game, it's filled with guys from Sweden, guys from Europe, who he opened the door for. He opened that door in the 70s where, he faced, physical violence and xenophobia for where he was from, and he took it like a champ, and he was a giant for it. He 16 seasons, and he's in the rafters, so, and in history. So yeah, that's it's hard for us to put into words, but I tried my best.
Well, and how do you talk about something so sensitive without,
Yeah.
making it seem like we're just trying to get views or anything like that, right? Like, if we look at other organizations and how they honor their people, I would say the Leafs are probably one of the best at it. The Leafs and all due credit to the Habs, they do just as good of a job, if not better, sometimes with some of their people. And even last night's game, we're going to talk about tonight's game, everybody. But even before last night's game, you see Daryl Sittler holding Borje up, and it was just
that was an image. That was something that will be etched in your mind forever.
Yeah,
to be honest, something like.
And you can just tell that even though it's been so many years, all of those people still care so much. Kyle Dubas, was he even alive when Borje was playing? Maybe a couple years old max. He finished in 89. I think Dubas is a couple years older than me, so maybe a little bit. But he never would have seen him play when he was little. Not that he remembers, I would think. And to know that he did break the glass ceiling for Swedes and for the game to be what it is because he was able to be that pioneer is, all you can do is tip your hat and hope that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't hope for better because a couple of years ago, if everybody doesn't know, if there's any new people to the chat, or new Leaf fans by any coincidence, if a friend happened to send you this link, a couple of years ago, Borje Salming was playing in the Alumni Classic.
The man was in fantastic shape.
Yeah.
For his age.
And
he looks the same as when he was playing.
And for ALS to be anybody that knows anybody knows how awful ALS is just as a disease, and to see him fall so far is it's heartbreaking. So, the Game Over family, of course, and myself and Fouad, I think I can speak for you when we say we send our best and our love to him and his family.
Absolutely.
And in the tribute today, they were talking about how his effort was second to none. And I'm glad that the Leafs were able to win tonight. They didn't win last night, but tonight when they were honoring him, that second period, they were all effort. And I think that
they were inspired.
Yeah. And maybe it wasn't there in the first period, but the second period got it done. And now we're going to talk all about it.
Yeah.
So
I just want to close out. We had just look at a chat here with Jay Anthony kind of in the chat here paying some tribute. He must have been watching him. He said, an instant Leaf fan favorite from his first shift on, always a hero to me. Go Salming, go. I don't remember any quit in his game. And thank you, Jay Anthony, for that. We appreciate that.
Absolutely.
We're gonna pivot to the game now as best we can.
We're gonna pivot to the Leafs win. Where again in the first period, I thought we were going to be making a very different video than we are currently making. Let me just put it that way.
I was ready. I was kind of writing the rant notes down. I'm like, I was writing. I
have a lot of underlines in today's notes.
I was writing a diss track, basically. I was just sitting there just Eminem writing a diss track for the team. Before the game, honestly, I had a video. I like to do these little previews. If you guys follow me ever, I like to just preview the game for fun. I said that if they lose this game, it'll become almost like a bad sitcom running gag. Like, it's almost like kind of like a Steve Urkel, like, did I do that? Did I blow another lead? That's how I felt about the Leafs. Like, I swear, like, if they had lost this game, you would need laugh tracks underneath it. But they didn't lose the game, so
or no scream tracks. Or scream tracks in my case.
Those tracks too, the gasps.
Yeah.
But it was the first period, it started off pretty rough. You had Bo Horvat.
Blow Borvat? Is that what you said?
Basically auditioning for his next team or his next contract. He tipped it twice. He was going in and he tipped it not once. And he's like, no, I'm getting the next one. And he tipped it twice. Back of the net. And then, first period, the first period was all the problems kind of magnified. Yeah, the second goal, it was like you just had, I know it was a power play goal, but you just had guys with a lawn chair and a drink just in front of the net.
Yeah.
Just chilling there.
No hassle on their part.
Unabated.
Just there, ready and waiting. And, that's something that in past years and this year, the Leafs have really struggled with is defending in front of the net. Now, last year, we ended up getting Ilya Labushian, who did a great job. Now, he had some other shortcomings, but he cleared the net, right? And
it was, He was the specialist of net moving, and that was it.
Yep,
But
that was it.
you
And
need that. You need it.
And that's the thing, right? You can't just have all the same type of player and everybody that's here. If you're watching this, you know that. I don't need to tell you. But, it's when we have somebody like Borje in the audience and in the health that he is, you hate to see goals like that go in. The first one is a bad tip, and tips are hard to prevent as it is, right? All you can try and do is get stick positioning. And do I wish Hall had more of that stick in front of the net? Sure, but
that's the thing. I mean, those tips are easy to get when you're just in front of
when
the
it's
net,
free real estate, right? When there's
it's just
nobody
open.
there, yeah.
So I mean, we don't want to harp too much on the negatives, but we're just talking about what we saw. And that the first period was was the Jekyll of the Hyde. Actually, I don't even know which one's Jekyll, which one's Hyde. To be
Hyde
honest
is the crazy one. Dr. Jekyll was the sane one. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. I'm going to use that next time. But basically, thank you for that. That was what we saw. We saw the bad Leafs. It was like bad Leafs. Bad Leafs in the first period.
Bad giveaways, bad passes, bad choices, bad decision making. It was just as soon as the first goal. It's funny because the first couple of minutes of the game, there was a couple of really good chances that, if one of those goes in, maybe the first period doesn't play out the way that it does, right? But, you miss those couple chances, and then all of a sudden Vancouver gets a goal, and, just the balloon is let out of air ever so gently. And then the second goal, I thought even more so as the period went on. After the second goal happened, it was just someone just stabbed the knife right into those tires. And, luckily they end the first period on a power play, the Leafs do, and don't capitalize. Go into the second, more power play, and Poppy produces.
Oh, Poppy. I was saying in the chat, we have a bit of a group chat with all the Game Over people, and we were talking about an Austin Matthews goal live is something different. It like that puck, you don't even see it leave the stick. It just comes out of the net. That's all you see on your screen. Like the camera technology is not advanced enough to capture the speed of light yet, and that's how fast that shot is. But,
it lands on his stick, and he wants it's He makes sure it's in a good position, and then it's hit and mesh.
It was beautiful goal. I mean, that's what you needed, and it continues. It continues the positive signs that we're seeing from the top four, the big four, the guys that we all know and we all like to rag on. They're playing. They're on their game.
They're battling for sure.
A Marner and Matthews special, and that's got the ball rolling. And then to me, what was most telling was the other goals, to be honest. The third line, the Engvall goal, it came as a result of just mucking it up in front of the net.
And good positioning, right?
I kind of felt like I hadn't seen that in years. Like where the team is just crashing and crashing and crashing the net. And then when you do that, the puck has a way of finding you and into the net.
Do we have a trade that just happened? Is that what just happened? Did I just see that? Miller for what? I just had that open. Where did it go? Quick, check our group chat. You can break the trade.
It might have been a joke.
Maybe that's entirely possible.
I'm gonna hold off on that. There's no breaking news here. I have no sources. No real sources on my end. But and then you go from that to the third period, and then we're like, okay, being the hurt Leafs fans that we are, we're always just like, okay, prove it to us. Let's see how you do in the third period.
Oh,
Leafs.
I was like, okay, I can't wait for Vancouver to tie it.
With your lead there, Leafs, with your lead. Let's see how you do. That's how we act. Like that's how my voice is in my head.
Now, the only thing we didn't talk about in the second. Now, we're going to come back to all of this, of course.
Of course.
Carm Capo. Benny was the best D tonight, winning goal. You're not entirely wrong. Now, he did take a penalty not long after that, right? Which could have been very costly. But, Jordy Ben did look really good. I'm surprised. Was Brody hurt, or was it just a maintenance day for him? I don't think they said.
I didn't catch that. Somebody can tell us.
Yeah, hopefully, maybe if you know in the chat, just throw it over to the side here.
PAG says technically cameras do catch the speed of light. I'm sorry that he's probably right. Yeah,
he is. Yeah, that's what this is.
Sometimes
right?
I like this is live, and I'm trying to make metaphors off the top of my head, and appreciate you checking me there.
And
the
Bill Nye the Science Guy, science rules.
Science rules.
You're
Thank
not
you
wrong.
for that. But yeah, Jordy Bent, that goal. I always like seeing. I always have this feeling that you could see when a guy like Ben gets a goal, the game-winning goal, taking the lead. I think that really puts the air in the tires. Like if it was a John Tavares goal,
yeah,
would have been nice because it's a 400th goal. But if it was a Matthews or a Marner goal, it's kind of par for the course. But when you see a guy who's literally not there to score goals, like he is signed to punch faces and move people around, get a goal, I think that really does have an emotional effect on the team. And you could see it when he scored the goal that everyone was like, yeah.
Matthews lost his mind. He had the leg up. Like I was afraid there was going to be another accident with the skate blade. I was like, Poppy, put your leg down, please. But, you see the emotion on Jordy Bent's face. He hasn't scored since January, right? So that's got to feel great for him. And, is this his first game as a Leaf? Yeah.
His first
goal a game player, Jordy Bent.
There you go.
This was the missing piece, everybody. This was it. This is what we've been missing. Matthew knows who. It's Jordy Bent.
You guys ragging on Kyle Dubas. He's going to get future Norris Trophy winner.
Jordy Bent.
Ben, to you, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first.
And then we're all going to have to eat our words and be like, Jordy Ben. Oh, man. Engvall showing Jay Anthony again. Hi, Jay Anthony. You have been very active in the chat tonight. Engvall showing up once in a while is not good enough. We all know that. Also, Mikheyev is playing for Vancouver tonight. He was. And I did not really notice him. I saw him a couple times, but it doesn't seem to be. Now, Vancouver hasn't exactly been playing fantastic as a whole.
Ooh, no. They have the vibe. That team kind of has the vibe of the Randy Carlyle Leafs to it. It has that sort of like end of the road, and it's not. I mean, that is a bad thing. But I mean, on the other side could be some superstars coming their way. We can only hope for them. But yeah, Ilya Mikheyev, big signing.
Leafs great. Ilya Mikheyev.
He was the original Soup, actually.
He was, yes, before Campbell. Yeah.
Because at his first game, he had an interview saying, "I don't know why Canadians don't like soup. I eat soup all the time." And that became just a meme because it was just a random thing to say.
Well, and they asked him, he was like, I can't remember what it was, but he said, they asked him what his favorite food was, and he said he likes his mom's borscht. And his girlfriend learned to make it so that he could have it when he was here. Like, ugh. I hope Mikheyev succeeds in Vancouver. I really do. He was such a great kid.
He was good in his first season, and then that like catastrophic skate blade injury that we just saw again with Evander Kane and Edmonton. Oh my goodness, those are just like
nightmare fuel. They're nightmare fuel.
Movies, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Obviously, it cut his wrist, and you need your wrist to shoot and score goals. He found it in his contract year, and that's why he had signed a big deal in Vancouver. But yeah, it wasn't much to notice there.
It was okay.
He was all right. Yeah.
But enough about the Canucks. Let's talk about more Leafs. Let's talk about more Leafs. More Leafs. All Leafs all day or all night. We can go all night. I'll have to get Zoom Premium, but we can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you think? What did you think of the goaltending decision? You had Eric Källgren. You shall not pass Källgren playing.
Yes, you shall not pass.
Second night of a back-to-back, which is quite rare in Leafland.
Yeah.
And to me, I think it was split on Twitter and Leafs Twitter and Leafs discourse. Some people were saying, good on him. Don't put the kid in net in front of the Lions' Den on Hockey Night in Canada. And then you had another contingent saying, why not give the kid a chance? Don't play Källgren 2 games in a row. He's too tired, and he's not that, he hasn't been that great. Put Keith Petruzzelli in. Let's see what he does. So this is what happens when you're kind of screwed when you're screwed goaltending wise, when you have a fourth and fifth stringer. So Sheldon Keefe is just
pickings, right?
What's the least bad decision I can make? Because there are no good decisions. But I thought Källgren actually played pretty well. He looked pretty well. I mean,
And
I
he's
think,
looked pretty good the last couple of games, right? Like there was the one goal against Pittsburgh where we're like, oh, I wish he would have had that. But like the goals tonight, a tip in, how do you block that?
yeah,
And then
it wasn't any bad. It wasn't any stinkers.
no,
from
and
Sheldon.
there's lots of how many times in the last few games, I suppose, since Samsonov's been out, how many times has there been like all kinds of chaos in front of the net? And in previous years, Freddie Anderson, the 5-hole was like the go-to thing that he would miss, right? That was the worst part about Freddie, is he would always miss the 5-hole.
It was a 10-hole.
It was, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was a whole 18 holes of golf between Freddie Anderson's legs. There was so much space. Like there was so many shots that went through that. And Campbell had that a couple times too, but Shelgren's been pretty solid when it comes to all the flurries in front of the net. There's been times where I'm like,
he's holding his own.
Where's the puck? How is the whistle not blown? And he gets back up and then makes another great save. Like he does allow a couple of second chance options every now and then, granted, but all things considered, if we talk about what are we all waiting for this year? We're waiting for the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
And we all know how does Tampa like to score lots of goals? Right in front of the net, really greasy. Now, Tampa's not the be-all, end-all, but if we know or can have some confidence that our third-line stringer can prevent those, knowing that if another goal or injury does happen, or if, heaven forbid, Matt Murray doesn't make a recovery and, and all of a sudden Shelgren is our backup in the playoffs, I feel good knowing that he has experience and I have confidence, and I'm sure the boys have confidence in the way that he protects the net when there's a big flurry in front. He's done really well for us, all things considered.
In the chat, I have some people saying, I feel like Shelgren is just one of the long lines of goalies that are being let down by Leafs D. I have some people saying the same thing. Shelley hasn't been awesome, but neither has he been the problem. This is Brett. A couple softies, but mostly a lack of support from the team. I think that's a fair assessment. And for me personally, like seeing Keith Petrozelli would have been just fun because of the novelty.
Yeah.
I think that's with a goaltender. It's always just like, maybe he could, it's like a mystery box.
He's the new Vasilevsky, guys. We just don't know it yet.
You just don't know because it's a new shiny thing. But these guys this is not a video game. These guys know the moment. And I think that it's to put a guy out there on Hockey Night in Canada
with the emotion of the pregame and everything, right? Like no pressure.
Matchup.
No pressure.
Eventually you got to play, but I think Sheldon Keefe is probably of the mind that, you have to preserve these guys' confidence because goaltending is such a mental game more than anything.
Yeah.
And, you're sitting there all alone. The entire arena is watching your every move. And if, if he had been shelled tonight for like 5 goals, then we would be yelling at Keefe anyway. So
yeah,
I think it was a good decision. I wouldn't mind seeing him just for the novelty of it and the what do we have here type thing. He's a big boy. He was picked pretty high. I think he has some kind of pedigree for a goaltender, right?
Well, and he's a big dude. He's like 6'6" or something, isn't he? He's massive. Not a small person anyway.
The chat today is awesome. I see Mikey's Lab. Check on the Vancouver stream. It is depressing over there. First of all, everybody, please check out, after you're done this, check out the Vancouver stream anyway. Watch it in its entirety because they're awesome. You got Tic Tac, Tomar, and Sam on there. Just to talk about them, just to talk about Vancouver briefly, I'm telling you, I think you're on the cusp of something here. You just got to keep losing, all right? You got to do what we did in 14-15, 15-16, okay? You have Connor Bedard in your grasp. We need Connor Bedard in Canada, okay? He needs to be playing in Canada.
That would be nice.
I root for the success of other Canadian teams, except for the East Coast ones, obviously. But the Western Canada teams, I always have a soft spot for them. So trade Horvat, get a big old return, I think. Tank it out.
Trade Miller.
See what happens.
Don't trade Horvat. Are you kidding me? I guess Horvat's playing too well. Maybe they should keep JT Miller.
Yeah. I mean, hey, but, you got to get what you can while the iron is hot, for sure.
I look at, right before we go to the chat questions, I look at some of the contracts that the Leafs have, and I'm like, there's a couple numbers I don't love, but I'm glad we're not paying JT Miller what we're paying, and I'm glad we're not paying Jack Campbell what the Oilers are paying. Spicy.
Goodness.
Justin Hall is not an NHL D-man by Ryan McLean. Ooh, that's Ryan McLean, are you going to apply? I am certainly not an NHL D-man. And, you know, it's easy to forget that they are, in fact, all NHL players, and they would skate circles around all of us. It's just sometimes his decision-making makes you just rub your temple and hope it ends soon.
Me especially. I never played before, so full
That's
disclosure.
right.
Yeah. Actually, before we go, I wanted to ask the Hall of Fame selections. I wanted to get to that. I know we had a bit of a
of
start.
course.
What are your thoughts? I mean, these are guys that, you know, it's coming to the point. These are guys that I remember watching, and they were there. They were big stars when I came of age watching.
Yep.
Obviously, the Vancouver superstars of Luongo and the Sedins. I feel like that team should have won the cup. I think that team just really should have won in 2011. That team was a wagon and a half.
I remember where I was in everything during that whole playoff series for the Canucks. I was shocked that they didn't win the Stanley Cup. I was really hoping so.
I mean, and then the next season they won the President's Trophy, and then they lost to that crazy Kings team. Just the agony of defeat. You know, you have the best possible team, and you still might not get it, right?
Yep.
But
you can get all the way to the Stanley Cup final. You can get all the way to Game 7, and then just gone.
I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. Would you rather just not make the playoffs or get all the way there and not win it? Like, I don't even know. Like,
me personally, like as a Leafs fan, I think
as a Leafs fan,
if we got to Game 7, I mean, first of all, we would be able to get rid of the no playoff series win since 2002, which just that in and of itself is a win.
2004, okay? 2004.
It feels like 2002. Oh my gosh.
I was in the fourth grade.
What year is it?
I was in the fourth grade, and now I'm bald with a beard. So that's basically your answer there.
Yeah.
And then Alfredson, Daniel Alfredson, my first
Leaf killer,
villain.
Daniel Alfredson. Oh my gosh.
Childhood villain. You know, one of my first memories of Daniel Alfredson, I'll tell you, is the 2002 playoffs. So that's the one that they went to the conference final.
Right.
And the first round, they had that like banger against Ottawa, like that absolute 7-game war. And my first memory, I have to remember now if it might have been a Game 5 or it was in the middle of the series where it went to overtime. And Alfredson kind of gave a hit to Darcy Tucker. Darcy Tucker took a nosedive into the boards, broke his shoulder. Alfie gets the goal, and fans were pissed. I remember the next day I saw a newspaper and it said like cheap shot on it. But you know, he was a villain, but you know, I had some begrudging respect in 2007 when he went all the way to the finals with that Ottawa team going up against all those different teams. So, whoa, that is an angle of your phone right there in front of the camera.
Sorry. Whoopsie.
I thought it was like the invasion of an ant. It was like an invasion of a evil drone was coming to get us.
It's okay. Yeah. The chat can't see that because I'm actually using a separate webcam. Yes.
There you go.
Yeah. So the Hockey Hall of Fame inductees this year, I had a moment of, oh, I know all these people and they're retired and are being inducted into the Hall of Fame. And then I picked up my walker and moved it forward because that's how quickly I aged last night watching that Hockey Hall of Fame's induction ceremony. Oh my goodness. I'm glad Luongo got into it. I'm glad that the picks are who they are. You know, I don't think that there's ever really anybody that gets inducted into the Hall of Fame that doesn't deserve it in some way, shape, or form or another, right? Like, it's not something to get into easily.
Yeah, I mean, people laugh. I mean, in other sports, I always say this in streams, but I'm a big basketball fan as well. And the NBA Hall of Fame, everybody gets into the NBA Hall of Fame. I mean, they've picked players that are just like, oh, that guy, okay, cool. Funny enough, actually, I was actually out on Friday. I was out and about. I was going to the Van Gogh exhibit, and I was walking by a hotel, and I saw the Sedin twins walking out of the hotel there. Just did not have the chance to stop and talk because we were late for the Van Gogh exhibit. It was very nice, but I wanted to stop and saw the Sedins out there. Just wanted to holler at them. But
shout out Daniel and Henrik.
Daniel and Henrik.
I can't believe that those guys both got 1,000 points each. That's unbelievable. Congratulations to everybody that got inducted into the Hall of Fame, even though I'm positive you'll probably never see this. Knowing that I said it to the Roberto Luongo and the Sedin brothers and Leaf killer Daniel Alfredson.
What's that? Is that Roberto Luongo in the chat? He just said thank you. No, I'm just kidding. That's terrible. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he has a ghost account on YouTube just for this. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's a burner, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Jay Anthony, oh my God, could you imagine BX on this Leafs team? Don't tease me with a good time.
Could.
Honestly. You know, what the Leafs could actually really use is a Borje Salming.
Absolutely.
Just saying.
I think any team could.
I don't think those exactly grow on trees anymore, though.
No, absolutely not. I mean, the man, absolutely legendary person and career. And yeah, we wish the best for Borje and the family. What more can you say about that? You know, we just hope for the best, and you know, our love and heart and thoughts go out to them. That's the best we can say as two talking heads on the internet, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, I'm glad that he was able to be there last night for all of that, and I know we're coming full circle with the chat today. But you know, it's funny. My dad is a little bit of a bitter Leafs fan. He says he's not a Leafs fan, but he secretly is. He's just hurt by all of the years of hurt, which fair enough. But I remember being little and my dad talking about how they needed somebody like that. And I didn't really understand it because, you know, when you're little, you don't get the full grasp of what past players were relevant and how they impacted the team and where they are now. And, you know, to be able to see him be able to come back and everything, it was really heartwarming. Yep. So, what else? You got anything else for us? Any last questions for the chat? We're almost out of time here.
We're almost running out of time here. I think you said it best. And yeah, good win, guys. Enjoy it, Leafs fans. We we finally took out a team they were supposed to take out, and you know, we think that Matt Murray is on his way back, so that should be another storyline to look forward to. And thank you guys again for populating our chat. Everybody who's watching it live, everybody listening on podcast land, on YouTube after the fact. We really appreciate you guys because, you know, we love doing this. This is the best part of our day, the best part of our night. So we thank you guys for joining us, and we're going to continue to drop some fire podcasts and shows in the future.
Absolutely. We're going to be back Tuesday night to cover the game, so that we're looking forward to that. One last time before we sign off, make sure you hit like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Feel free to rate us however you would like, on however you're listening to us, if you are listening to us on the podcast. Thank you again for tuning in tonight, everybody. And looking forward to seeing you on Tuesday. Take care, everybody.
Have a good one, Leaf fans. Take care. Bye-bye.
Game over! Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.